Yep, that's what we're gonna do.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. A lot has happened since the last time you saw this car. We have worked basically 2.5-ish full days with Brendan and gotten this thing pretty well to the point that we're ready to start it. So we'll go over a small overview of what we've done. I know a bunch of you guys don't really care about little stuff, so we're just going to make it quick and tell you what we did. Brendan ran basically the whole fuel system. So we have a new sending unit in the car with the old tank, just a small block sending unit, 1 3/8 line, and we adapted to a 6AN feed from that line, and then we put a return in the sending unit with a bulkhead 6AN fitting for the fuel regulated return. That's basically the fuel system. We ran all of our feed line for the turbo oil feed. Got the drain line all plumbed in. We got the wastegate on there. So basically, that's the rundown. We got a Motion Raceworks throttle cable. Yep, we got a fuse box over there.
Whole wiring harness.
So this is basic. Yeah, this is all the fuses for the whole thing here. We got basically we got an ECU fuse, coil fuse, a fan fuse, which we have not wired the fans yet, and we have the O2 sensor, the wideband, main fuse for all the switch power stuff, which everything runs on except for the cooling fans and the fuel pump. And we got an injector fuse, and then we got a switch power relay here and the fan relay here. Pretty simple. The wiring harness is on there. It's tucked pretty well. Basically everything is up under there. We have a very nice Deutsch bulkhead connector for going through the firewall, which will bring us to our no light condition of under the dash. We have the EMU black there, and it is all pinned and goes to the Deutsch connector up there. This is our clutch switch wire slash two-step, and then basically we have to the computer, and then our internal 4-bar map going to the engine. So that's basically it up there. We have the battery is now relocated to the trunk. We still have to do a hold down for that, but it's all there. We got the power wire to the fuel pump relay, which is here. Again, I know you can't see that, but it's there. And then the trigger wire that comes from the ECU up there. So yeah, that's basically it. We have organized chaos happening because we're kind of in a time crunch. Basically tonight what we're trying to do is we want to get this thing started and rolling backwards and forwards under its own power, because I am leaving tomorrow actually, so yeah, time crunch. And I'll be gone for a week. So this thing's running and can drive on a trailer. Brendan has his trailer outside, and he is going to take that box over there with him because it's got some shiny stuff in it. It's cheap eBay, you know, whatever.
All this down up in there somehow.
Yeah. So
got a lot of exhaust to run.
Yep. So he's gonna put exhaust on it. Ideally, we're gonna run a full exhaust all the way out the back. Will 3.5-inch pipe make it over the rear axle?
Don't know yet. Don't know until you try.
No idea. So we're gonna try it. That's the goal. If we can't, we'll deal with it later, or he'll just throw it outside. Whatever we need to do, we'll get it going. This car's got plenty of ground clearance. It'll be okay. And then
on the wastegate still yet, so we can figure out where we're gonna shoot flames.
Yeah, we're gonna. I'm hoping. Again, it's just a hope. If it doesn't happen, we'll put it somewhere. We should be able to go kind of right out that fender well, and then this way, and then down, and then, you know, wherever. It'll get there. We just don't want to run it into the exhaust because then you won't see fire. You know, you gotta see fire. We've talked long enough. Let's get to this computer, see what we got, and then see if this thing even makes noise. All right, so we got one leaky injector. Must have bad O-ring or something. We'll get that sorted. Got fuel pressure. I'll turn the key on. You can hear the pump. So basically, you turn the key on, this connects, but you'll hear the pump prime up. Fuel pressure goes up to 43. There's no reason it shouldn't start.
Hopefully.
Didn't start. Can't say that I know what's going on, but let's see. This log we can watch, make sure it's seeing RPM. It's not seeing RPM at all. Well, hate to say it, but we're out of time. We're gonna slap the hood on this thing, get it on his trailer, and get him out of here. It's super late, and both gotta work. Should have been in bed a long time ago. Yeah, so
About the only thing we can do is reach out to people more intelligent than us right now, and hopefully they got answers for us. Sit down, watch a whole bunch of YouTube videos, just like the rest of YouTube, and hopefully we get it figured out. Hopefully it's running and driving before he gets back. I'll probably take over some of the videoing from here, just so we can still get the content out to you guys, but about all we can do. Keep trying.
Yep, so hopefully I get a random video sometime during the week of this thing running. It seems like we've checked everything wiring-wise that relates to it. We do have a cranking signal now, so that's a huge plus. We're just not getting spark, it seems, so maybe it could be as simple as the coil is having the wrong polarity of the wires, or something more in depth. I don't know, but
if I had to guess, it's literally got to be something stupid with the on and off, a disable enable feature somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't have any experience with this EMU Black. I'm not knocking it at all. I'm sure it does way more than I'm gonna need, but I just don't know enough about it to know what I'm doing wrong. So we're gonna slap the hood on. We're gonna get it on the trailer. I'll probably just throw a time lapse onto that because, like I said, it's late. We both need to go, and yeah, hopefully we'll get with you real soon, and hopefully this thing runs.
been a hot minute. It's been almost 24 hours or so. The exhaust is pretty well done. Well, the whole side of the exhaust is done. O2 sensors in there, pipes on, mounted, solid, tight, everything's great. The cold side is done. They just gotta put clamps. I just gotta put clamps on them. But the next project, we gotta get the wastegate plumbed, which the parts just showed up. The tubing for it just showed up. I'm gonna come out of it 90, or I'm gonna come out of it straight, then 90, then another 90 straight towards the ground, and that should basically do it. And it's gonna be tucked back here behind the tire, so the tire's not gonna hit it. So yeah, that's basically the next step. But the IAT sensor's mounted. Like I said, this cold side's done. This pipe's all the way up into here, so you know that ain't gonna blow off, and this pipe is almost touching there. So basically, you don't need boots if your fitment's right, but the boots are there, so it's easy to take it on and off. So this doesn't look professional by no means, but I don't have a bandsaw. All I have is a chop saw and a grinder. So I really need a bandsaw, and I really need one of those like flat sanding things so you can clean it off. I don't know, they're just flat and they spin, and you could just rub your pipe up on it and it'll clean it right off and make it completely flush. But yeah, we're gonna hook the battery up to this thing and we're gonna start it up and see how it sounds. I got it ran out just in front of that tire, and honestly I think it's gonna be louder than it was open turbo just because it now has exhaust. But it's full 3.5 inch all the way out. The only thing that's not 3.5 inches is this 1 inch piece that goes from 3 to 3.5. So yeah, I'm gonna start this thing up. I'm gonna see how it sounds. I'm excited to see how it sounds. And yeah, it's finally got technically turboed air going into it. So besides some other minor little things, we're almost ready for a first drive. I think I'm gonna wait till JT gets back, unless he decides not to come over tomorrow. He's supposed to be back in town tonight. So yeah, we're a couple short moments away from driving this thing. So stay tuned. It's gonna be fun. We're about to hear what a 2JZ and a Chevelle sounds like for the first time, and the second time ever done in the world, and the first time me hearing one in person. So here we go. Well, it's on there. Tires full lock. And there's still 1/4 inch gap. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna need a mount, because I mean, hell, that's solid as can be. You can pick the car up off of that. And these are tight. This one's tight. I need to run to the parts store because we need to get vacuum lines. We need to run a vacuum line from here to here so it knows your boost reference, I think is what it's called. And yeah, we need to get a couple more things zip tied up. I need to get, this is technically supposed to go to a catch can or back into the PCV system, whatever you want to call it. But I think we're going to run it like a diesel, and we're just going to put a blow by line straight towards the ground. And it does smoke a little bit out of there. I don't know if that's because we don't have a restrictor in here. It does smoke a little out of the exhaust. I think that this is the same turbo that's on that. And online it says they don't need a restrictor, but I think the restrictors are on that. So I think we're gonna put a restrictor in here, get an adapter fitting, and yeah, hopefully that fixes the issue that we have, because it doesn't smoke at idle. It smokes when you rev it up and that turbo's really spinning. So I think that the smoke is coming from the turbo, in my opinion. But the engine does have a touch of blow-by, which is normal when you buy a junkyard engine, no matter what it is. So I think we're just gonna deal with that. It's not like, it's just smoke basically. It's not like it's spraying oil out of there. Like if you get a bad blow-by situation, it kind of pops a little oil out of there. But yeah, I'm gonna go get some vacuum lines, because our weed eater fuel line that we shoved a drill bit in to make fit some of these fittings just aren't what they need to be. And I'm gonna run to the parts store. We're gonna come back and we're gonna take this thing on its very first drive as a 2JZ Chevelle. So stay tuned. Should be probably not that interesting, but should be fun. Well, we got the car warming up. We got all the vacuum lines hooked up and making a lot better connection. I double checked, the fans do come on, so we got to get it up to about 80 degrees Celsius. That's what it set in. I haven't figured out how to turn to Fahrenheit, which 80 degrees is about 175 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. So the fan should kick on when it gets up to temp, but I think I'm going to back it out. I think I'm going to just go for a little jaunt through the subdivision down the street and see how it does, see if it shifts through a gear or two, and just see how it does, if it's even gonna drive or what we need to do. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do, where we're gonna go to, and that's how it's gonna roll. So hopefully everything goes good. Celsius, so probably stop up here at the stop sign and get out and check to see if the fans are on. So but yeah, we're sitting at 85. It's not like it's climbing anymore, but it'll at least do 20 something mile an hour. So we might try and see if it'll shift into second gear. I think that was all first gear. So but yeah, other than that, it looks like this thing is definitely a little rich and it's doing some tuning on its own. It's in Lambda. I'm not 100% familiar with Lambda. I know one, I think it's Stoic. So right now Target, it wants it to be at 1 and it's at 1.4. So I'd assume that's considered rich. But yeah, I'm gonna jump out real quick and just check everything over. We didn't make it far. House is right there. We just kind of went around a little quarter mile or so jaunt, but it's staying at 180 degrees, or well, close to 85 degrees Celsius. That's probably like 190, which is where the thermostat's at. So let's go out and look. Yep, fans are definitely on. So but yeah, we gotta get that blow-by tube hooked up to the ground so it don't smoke out the top here and scare everybody. But it does have a touch of an oil leak right there. We're not going that far, but yeah, it's doing what it's supposed to do. So I'm gonna take it down this road here and see if we can get to like 35, 40 and park it right back in the garage. So far, here it is. check everything out. We still got a couple things to do before I really want to go out and actually drive it. But I just wanted to make sure everything was going to be kosher and cool. So far, it's staying right at the 85, 86 degrees Celsius range. And but yeah, you can actually hear the turbo out the exhaust too. I'm new to this 6-cylinder gang. I've never, the 4.3 is about as much as I've ever done, so, oh well. Oh, the modulator valve's not shipped up or hooked up either, so I gotta plumb that in, but no big deal. So, well, YouTube, it's been 2 days maybe since I said we were gonna take this thing on the first drive, and we did, and I videotaped it a little bit. It went all right. We got a couple of cool pictures and videos just from the 200 yards, maybe. It's probably farther than that, probably 500 yards, half a mile maybe. We got a lot of stuff figured out on that little drive too, and came back. I was doing some tuning, stuff that really didn't need to be videotaped. It was not wanting to hot start very well, just needed to get it figured out. All the temperatures and everything were in Celsius. I moved that all over to Fahrenheit. Just basic stuff, really. I mean, we did needed to get an oil restrictor in for the turbo because it was smoking a little bit. We thought that was our problem. It was our problem, I do think, but I never really videotaped it. Of course, I went to take it on another test drive, not really thinking everything was basically figured out, just was gonna go a couple miles and come back just because I had a little time last night. And well, it started missing extremely bad on one cylinder. It sounded terrible. And that's kind of where it left off. It was smoking real bad. There was a lot of oil out of the blow-by tube. Let's see if you can see that. You might be able to see that, you might not, but there's some oil out of the blow-by tube, and there possibly might be some here, but that might just be water from the exhaust. But I went to do some further investigation. I wanted to check the spark plugs, so we pulled the spark plugs out. Number 5. This is number 5. It is absolutely soaked in oil. I brought a compression tester home, and I brought a leak down tester home, and we're gonna check it out.
Okay, how better?
You see it?
Well, unfortunately, we didn't get the good video of the piston literally falling out of the hole, but we will show you the piston because it's got a giant hole right there. Let's see. And the only thing we can think is the rings are pretty much all in line right there. Oil did not smell like fuel. I don't think we have an injector issue or anything like that. Brendan literally drove it like 4 miles, and then yeah, that. So we got like 4 days, and this has got to drive to Indy with Monte Carlo. So
yep, that's what we're gonna do.
And we're gonna find one piston and possibly a rod, however these come off of here.
We really only need one oil ring. The other rings spin-ish.
Yeah, I mean, that one's trashed, but I mean, worst case, yeah, sure. But hopefully we can find a used piston with all the rings on it. Slap it in there. Slap all this junk back on this and back in the car. And yeah, go to Indy. So there goes nothing. That's what we're left with, and can't catch a nail on it, so it's fine. We're gonna go ahead and just barely touch these ones up. There's a little bit of stuff in there, and yeah, hopefully we can find a piston really quick, local, and slap this back together. And I don't know if we'll get it running today, but hopefully before Thursday.
Be very lucky if we can get it today. We got 2 guys lined up, so hopefully they fall through or come together instead of fall through. So.
St. Louis, where's all the 2JZs at?
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, it's not an LS, but
this is an LS home. It's
fine.
453.
I don't think we got 5.3 pistons around here, but I don't think that's gonna fit in that hole.
No.
So we need to find a piston. So just know that if me or Brendan swap a car for you or do anything like that, this is not how we're gonna do things. But
this is ours. That's why we're doing
for us, it's fine. So yeah, these look much better. Like I said, let's get a piston. We're gonna cut back to you as soon as we find something. We're gonna slap it in here, and then by this time, I imagine the video is probably 3.5 hours long. I don't know. We're gonna get it all back in the car and get it running. So we ended up finding a piston local, like 10 minutes away, for free. So it's used. We cleaned it up, soaked it in diesel so we could get the oil ring moving. I can't. There we go. Oil ring moves. Got the other rings spread apart. So we're just gonna slap it on in here.
Fancy.
Went the right direction, same as all the others. Knock it in there.
Look at that.
Perfect. Now we'll roll it over a little bit. I'll roll the motor over.
I don't think the other piston was doing so hot. It fell right to the ground. I think this was gonna fall out.
Yeah, so bad YouTuber moment. We had this thing rolled over and we took the other cap off of that piston and literally piston fell out, hit the ground. So we knew that wasn't right.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna lose more oil and more
It's always a mess.
stuff. But here we are with this one, and the journal still looks fine. You could probably honestly just lock it part way. That'd be fine. That still looks okay in there, and we kind of checked all these ones, and they still are the ones we could. Obviously, we can't check like 1 and 2, but 3 and 4 and all them.
Did you put that bearing in there?
I did not. So they all look good. We'll throw that bearing in before we forget.
Yep.
Put the cap on, which we did not get with the rod. Yes, we know, not correct. It'll be fine. So yeah, we're gonna put it back. We're gonna put the lower pan back on, flip it over, put the head back on, time it, and then we're gonna get this thing back in the car because we ain't got no time left. So here we go. Welcome back. We are heading to Indianapolis for the Indy 800 and Burnout Rivals, and we're missing a Chevelle. So I'm sure you all know about that by now, but we are in some town in Illinois. I don't know, it's been what, a couple hours? And this is where we're at. So I will let Brendan kind of explain how many stops they've made and what's going on with it. And yeah, keep going.
We've burnt 3 spark plug wires already. Luckily I have a whole nother set, so we only got a couple left, but our heat tape is not working like it's supposed to. I'm also dumb and didn't get an actual like spark plug wire sock. I just been wrapping regular exhaust band tape around it and zip tying it. Well, we lost the zip tie and that broke, so it's kind of my fault, but we're getting there.
Turns out these get hot, apparently. So
It's made it like 1,000 miles without having one spark plug issue, and then of course we take it on this trip and we've had 5 problems in 200 miles, if that.
yeah. So we're gonna stop at a parts store again to return the wires that he bought that he thought might work. They won't fit over the coil. So we're gonna stop and get some socks maybe, that way we have actual heat protection.
Yeah.
Because that might help, I would assume. And then once we do that, we're gonna keep rolling. So I mean, other than that, engine wise, we haven't had a single issue with this thing, so that's a plus. We're gonna keep on keeping on, and we're gonna get to Indy. And even though we don't have the Chevelle, we're gonna do fun things and see lots of cool stuff. So that's the plan. We will check back with an update sometime. I don't know when. We'll see. So Brennan had to stop again, and we couldn't get off the same exit. So we made a little detour, decided we'd come over here. Apparently this is the world's largest golf tee, and it's right there. Very disappointing. So, world's largest golf tee was a disappointment. Also, same town. World's largest pitchfork. Not as much of a disappointment. It's pretty neat. Looks like they got some big old hose clamps up there holding the top of it on. Other than that, yep, okay, let's keep going. We're back at the shop with the Chevelle. So after we got back from Cleveland Cars, a couple days later we went and picked up the car from Brendan's house, brought it back here, and it's been like a week or two since then. I don't even remember what is today, 17. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks since Cleveland Cars. I've had too much going on. We pulled it back here, rolled it in the shop, haven't touched it. So, to the point where let's get back on it. So yesterday I came out here and really couldn't think of anything that we hadn't tried or anything that would cause the problem we were having. I mean, we didn't change anything in the tune, nothing. Wouldn't start. So took the timing belt back off the top 2 gears again. We've timed this thing like 3 times, and I rocked the VVTi pulley back and forth a couple times, listened to the oil in there, listened to it in the valve, could hear it moving, rocked it all the way back to, well, full clockwise, I guess, if you're looking at it, and slid the belt back on, timed it again, made sure top dead center was with the other 2, and yeah, so we'll see what it does now. Prime up. Well, give it a little air. So it runs again. What I changed or what I did, I don't know. It was a timing thing of some sort, but it runs. So I need one clamp here. Probably need plugs for it, honestly, because I'm sure those ones are absolutely trashed from everything, all the oil and stuff that number 5 had for sure. So I might just go ahead and get plugs for it. The starter is on its last leg because we cranked and cranked and cranked and cranked on this thing trying to get it to run. So that's kind of where we're at. It does still need some tune work. Idle isn't quite there. It's idling high. Might have a vacuum leak or something. We need to check into that. Other than that, it's right there, guys. So I'm sure this is either the second video of this episode or this is just a very, very long video, but that's where we're gonna end it off. Yeah, decided that we're not gonna go with stripes, so did this kind of little cal induction area sticker for the No Limit Garage. And if you can tell me what font that was used on, is used on a very, very popular what I want to say, very popular logo, we'll just put it that way, for a long, long time. So what's that remind you of? Drop it down in the comments if you know. But yeah, that's where we're gonna end it off. Thank you to everyone who have watched this far. Thank you to everyone that have watched the series. Huge thank you to my wife and little guy. They've been absolutely hanging on there while we've been doing this. Thank you to Brendan for doing a ton of this work. He'd probably still be sitting here without a fuel system and without a whole lot of stuff done if it wasn't for him. So thank you to Brendan for that. And yeah, we're gonna get this thing dialed in here soon because we want to drive this thing. We want to see how it does, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't run into any more big issues like we did. Get that tune dialed in and start driving it. So thanks, guys. We'll be back very soon with something else. We got some stuff going for the Galaxy. We got the part for that. Other than that, it'll be back to Chevelle and Nova content probably. We'll get the Galaxy done, and then who knows, we'll be back here with something. So thanks, guys. See you next time. If you want to.
just the beginning.